And we are back. And we are back. It's the voice of the blockchain here, Satoshi's big cousin, cryptography's finest, Champagne Crypto. Thanks for tuning in. This is our second live stream of the day. What we call the Lifts and Bits chat. We do these every Friday, a general self-improvement chat. Check out all the other streams that we've done with the self-improvement chat playlist that I have linked down below. Today, we're going to be talking about passion, will, and reason out there. What are you leading with? And what is calling you to action? Is it your passion, your will, or your reason? And how are you handling the three in terms of hierarchy? How are you, which one are you leading with? Are you leading with your passion? Are you leading with your will or your reason? And we're going to talk about that today as the rest of the boomers tune into this live broadcast indeed. Go ahead and drop a comment there. Let me know if you read me 10-4. Let me know if the microphone is sounding good. Again, this is our second live stream of the day. Second live stream of the day. The mic is working. I thought it was unplugged there for a second. And we're back. And we're back. 4 people watching right now. Give me a 10-4. Drop a comment here in the box. Make sure the microphone's working. Self-improvement chat playlist is linked down below. Today, during this Lifts and Bits chat, we'll be talking about passion, will, and reason. Which one are you leading with? 10-4. Champ, says Jojo Wave. Excellent. Excellent. Now, I wanted to bring this up because really I wanted to name this logos, ethos, and pathos. Okay, and those are the Greek terms for passion, will, and reason. And Monkey Magic says loud and clear. Sound good. Excited for this, says William. Great, great. I'm glad that you guys can hear me. Awesome. And the boomers are pouring in for the last live broadcast. John Xavier here. 10-4. Excellent, excellent. All right. So the mic's working and we're rocking. Okay, so again, the self-improvement chat playlist is linked down below. I finally put it all together where we've been talking about general self-improvement. And a lot of these chats have been based around like diet and exercise, which is important. I tell you guys all the time, you got to hit the gym. First of all, you got to hit the gym. If you want to be stronger mentally, you got to be stronger physically as well, and vice versa. If you want to be stronger physically, you got to get strong mentally. Bang, bang to Queen's Races. Another crypto soldier out there. John Xavier. We see you all, you guys. Monkey Magic, William, and Jojo Wave. And in this broadcast, I want to talk about something that's separate from physical strength. I want to talk about mental strength and how we are leading our actions. What's causing us? What is the call to action? What's driving us? Are we leading with our passions, our will, or our reason? Now, I found that in this day and age, it seems like everybody's telling you to follow your passions. Am I not right? They'll tell you this in school. Even parents are telling their kids, follow what you love in your passion. And I'm here to tell you that I believe that's wrong. And I think that they've been inverting everything. And we have fallen away from reason and what the Greeks have called the logos. Okay, L-O-G-O-S. So logos or logos. Now, the Gospel of John identified the Christian logos as Jesus Christ, the incarnate of the logos. So, the first gospel, even using the first couple sentences of there, they talked about the logos. Okay, and that being the Lord himself. Or what the Greeks would use for logos is reason. So what's reasonable? Are you thinking with reason, or are you letting your will or your passions lead you? And it seems like in this day and age, it's been reversed. Back in the days, people would lead more with their reason, okay, and then with their will, and finally with their passion, okay, because passion, the Greeks called it pathos, okay, and that's not far from the word pathology, which is a problem. Okay, you guys shouldn't be running with your passions out there. Some people are asking about porn. Some people are asking about quick profits, and that's running with your passions out there. And if you're running with your passions, you're going against the logos, guys. It's real simple. You're not dealing with reason anymore. You're dealing with passion. And then if you follow your passions, you become a slave to it. You could be a slave to both your passion and your will if you're not leading with reason first. Now, you could look at it as just reason like the Greeks looked at it, just through logic and reasoning, or you can look at it how the Gospel of John identified it as Jesus Christ himself as the Logos. So you could look at it both ways, but I'm talking about reason specifically. Monkey Magic says if we're looking at Greco-Roman philosophy, then there's a lot to be said for Stoicism, especially in a bear market. Indeed, indeed. Shout out to the Stoics out there. They have some good literature, and I agree, especially in the bear market. And when times are down, Stoicism is a way to handle it. But furthermore, I'm discussing directly with what the Greeks and these ancient philosophers identify as the logos or the logos. Okay, if you trace everything back to its origination, where does it come from? Is it derived from what? So there has to be a supreme reason that everything's hinging on. Okay, so they started and they discovered themselves that there has to be a logos. Okay, and like I said, the Christians identified that logos as the Lord himself. Okay, so you could pick and choose how you want to do it. And I'm going to say that, I identify with the Gospel of John, me personally. So I'm giving you guys the parallel of the Greeks and how Christianity also used the same type of reason to identify what they believe is the incarnate. And then you got will, which the Greeks called ethos. Okay, we've talked about the crypto ethos, and it's good to let your will drive you as well, but not letting it supersede the logos. Don't let it supersede reason. Okay, this is why I believe that ancient philosophy is good, and I also believe that some sort of religious instruction is good as well. I think we've been falling behind and leading with our passions here in societies. Like, people are fapping all around till 3 a.m. They're following their dreams, okay, and they're not doing what's reasonable. You got to start with reason first, boomers. It's real simple, okay? Start with the big man upstairs. Start with what's reasonable, and then maybe you could lead with your will after that. And then finally, if you're leading with your passions, again, I believe that you're going to be a slave to it, if you ask me. Shout out to Monkey Magic, John Xavier, Zenyatta, Queen's Races, William, and JoJo Wave. Let me know if you know these terms, guys. And I should have called this logos or logos, ethos, and pathos. And again, I want to remind you guys that this passion jazz that's been peddled, in my opinion, is subverting the culture. When you're dealing with just your passion, it becomes a pathology. That's why it's called pathos to the Greeks. So don't become pathologic out there. In other words, don't become pathologic, because if you're pathologic, it's basically you're being driven by your passions. We had someone drop by the chat box yesterday talking about we need more porn. Someone else in the past has asked us, why is fornication and degenerate behavior bad? Because you're leading with your passions. And that's kind of the trick that's been pulled on society right now. I mean, even the governments and people in positions, they're telling you follow your passions. And as soon as you go ahead and open that door and you start following passion first, forget about it, boomers. It's done. You'll be a slave to it. At the end of the day, the only way you're finding freedom is you lead with logos, with reason first. Revolution says, at the gym, it was back day today. Shout out to Rev, Cardano General. And then I've been saying this, guys, you want to go ahead and improve physically, go to the gym all the time, but also mentally, guys. Mentally, it's important. We haven't been talking about that as much as we have with the physical improvements. But, I want to go ahead and remind you guys, some of you may not be religious, and that's fine. Hopefully you guys will find that way. But I would show it to you in a different way, like the ancient Greeks looked at it. And again, they figured it out just through logic and reason, that there is a logos, there's a supreme out there. So hopefully you're leading with the logos, or the logos, however you pronounce it. And then perhaps maybe that could control your will and finally control your passions. But what's been peddled to us is an inversion now. It's an inversion. It's all in the culture and the society when they're telling you, do what you love, follow your passions. Guys, in my opinion, it's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? I think every choice we make is supposed to be led through prayer, says Queen's Races. And that's kind of what I'm getting to, whether you find it through prayer or through its own reasoning. I think that both the Greeks, the Christians, and other religions have came up to a conclusion that there has to be something behind there has to be a logos. There has to be a logos. And in fact, Queens, the first Gospel of John was written in Latin, and it actually uses the word logos in the first or second sentence. So it said, instead of saying in the beginning there was the word and the word was with God, it actually says in the beginning there was logos and logos was God. This was actually written in the the Latin version of the Bible. So that's why I want to bring the two together, because it seems like if there is a supreme, then he is most reasonable, right? It has to be within reasonable. What are some ways we can establish logos in our own personal lives? Do what's reasonable, and do what, what you have to find it through either prayer or through how the Greeks found it, through go ahead and doing logical reasoning. And they studied and they discussed things and they debated things and they got to the bottom of things. And then they came up with the conclusion there has to be a supreme out there. They called it the Logos. The Christians call it Jesus Christ as the incarnate. Me personally, my faith is with the Christian faith. But I think that you can find Logos and you can establish it by studying philosophy as well. I think your reason will lead you there, in my personal opinion. Postmodern culture is often too hedonistic. No wonder so few manage to save or invest for the futures. And there you go. Hedonism is basically a pathology. It's leading with your passions out there. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys to look into, he says, I'll look into it. Queen says, I never heard the word logos. Indeed. And I'll show you Wikipedia right here. This is on Wikipedia. It says it here in the third paragraph. The Gospel of John identifies the Christian logos through which all things are made as divine, and further identifies Jesus Christ as the incarnate logos. Okay. So, I mean, John went out to the Greek to profess the word out there, and he used the same terms that they were using and showed them. It's like, listen, this is what you came up, what you thought of. This is what it is. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with these terms, but I look forward to sinking my teeth into some research. Yeah, look at him. I just wanted to provide these terms to you so you guys could see that, there is a hierarchy as to what drives people. And right now people have gone so far, they don't even know these terms. They don't understand these terms. They understand that you could be driven by passion. You could be driven by will. You could be driven, hopefully at the end, by logos, which, like I said, identifies as Christ. Or if you don't believe that, you could figure it out through philosophy. But again, look into it. And I think it's important that I bring this up. I know it's a little bit of a deeper conversation, but I feel like it needs to be brought up to the boomers' attention, because because people are promoting this follow your passion BS. This follow your passion BS is the trap, and that's how they'll take your freedom away, and you become a slave to the passions. And then maybe you could control your passions, but then you can be someone that thinks that you could do it all on yourself, that only your will. So like, what's the satanic verse there said, it was Aleister Crowley says, do what thou wilt. Okay, so a lot of people follow that, and there's people in business, and most people that follow The Secret and all that stuff. They think that their will is what will manifest things in the world. Okay, some people, they just follow their passions, and those are probably most NPCs. Other people that are a little smarter, they may follow their will, and they think that they can control everything. But above pathos and ethos, you have the logos. Okay. And I want to make sure you guys try to seek those, through, whether it be through philosophical reasoning and logical reasoning, or by reading the word directly. Batman's right. Do what thou wilt. Yeah. So that, that at the end of the day, it's a satanic type of thinking. And it's the same type of they're peddling the same type of idea when they sell you these books like The Secret. Okay. Because yes, you could get some results just pushing with your will, but there's something that's bigger than the will. There's a logos. There's a reason behind that. So, look into it. Look into it. I think that maybe you guys could benefit from it. Lead with the reason for it, because it's unreasonable to be following your passions. And I wanted to bring this up because we have so many people talking about follow what you love and your passion and all that. And it's just romanticism. Romance is fake love. It's bullshit. I used to follow my emotion and passions far more than I do now. I'm more reasonable, and it's getting my heart broken and being very disappointed when I was more naive and emotional. So you're saying your reason is getting you heartbroken and being very disappointed? You got to look into it more, because if you're dealing within reason, then you should find peace. Because if not, then it's unreasonable. It's unreasonable to be disappointed and emotional. That is perhaps maybe your will and your ethos is still stuck in there. So, You know, it's something, it's not easy to follow the path, guys. It's not philo. There's a verse that says something about, you know, the narrow gate, the narrow path. You know, you're following reason, you're following logos. It's not going to be easy. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy. That's why everybody's following passion and ethos. You can break it down in the gym. Don't train with your ego. Train smart. I want to post a PR every workout, but that's feasible. Is it dangerous? So there you go. You're thinking within reason. Okay, you're thinking within reason. It's not reasonable sometimes to do these wild numbers. You got to think. Listen, I'll give you a perfect example. You know, I've been trying to squat 3 plates times 5. Okay, and you know, I racked the 3 plates today, and I did 2 sets. I had maybe one more set in the tank, but I said, let me be reasonable. I'm not going to go ahead and let my passion or only my will drive me right now, because part of the driving is done by the will. But I stepped back and I let the reason take over and said, you know, maybe I should, you know, leave a little bit in the tank. I don't want to get injured. So, you know, you can apply it to a lot of different things. Amen to that, Batman. Check the ego at the door. And that goes for most things in life. Don't feed the ego. So there you go. The ego is very similar to the ethos. So I want you guys to remember these terms. And I'll probably put them, and I was going to put them in the title, but I think that most people are familiar with passion, will, and reason more than logos, ethos, and pathos. But, you know, when you're dealing with your will, you're kind of dealing with your ego. And it's funny because Sigmund Freud, he broke it down, and he broke down the psyche in 3 too. He said there's the ego, the super ego, and what was the other one? So he's trying to break down these terms that the Greeks already broke down and invert them too, and then they try to tell you. So like Freud was a fraud, if you ask me. He tried to tell everybody that really we are driven by our passions only. Okay, that we're only driven by our passions, and that's not necessarily true. Not everybody's going to be driven by their passion. There's a way to unlock that, and you could be driven by reason. People in 2019 do whatever they want. The whole world needs Jesus. I believe there only so much as we humans can accomplish till we need God to complete it. I agree with Queens, and I agree with Queens. You know, and I know some people are not following that religious route, but perhaps showing them logic and reasoning and bringing the two together, they can figure out that it's about the same. Jojo Wave says ego, super ego, and id. Yeah, it's just a remix on logos, ethos, and pathos, but he's trying to invert it. And that's kind of the bagel trick out there, guys. And I've been telling you about this. Don't fall for the trick. It's even in psychology now that they've been trying to give you the trick. Invert everything. They start with passion first. And this is how they feed you bullshit, and they enslave the mind like this. So, you know, if you're leading with anything but reason, you are susceptible to being a slave, basically. I'll be dishonest. I don't know how people, I'll be honest, says Queens. I don't know how people live without God or prayer, if not on a daily basis, at least on a weekly basis. And, you know, I agree. And at the most part, you know, some people, they don't want to do prayer or whatnot, but at least look at what's reasonable. At least look at what the Greeks discuss. At least look at logic and reason, because at the end of the day, if you follow both paths, they're going to lead to the same place, guys, in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for giving us the heads up there, Jojo. Freud, the fraud, you know, ego, super ego, and id. It's just a fraud to invert everything and to have people lead with their passion. So he had people lay down on a couch, okay, and give all their secrets out, and then he would use it against them. It's real bullshit. This Freud stuff is bullshit. And, you know, they're still running with it now. And even now you see people tell everybody, follow your passions. And it sounds great. It's like communism, like socialism. It sounds great on the top. But at the end of the day, it's not logos, guys. It's not logos. It's not even ethos, if you ask me. But, you know, I wanted to give you guys the heads up on that. This is going to probably be a shorter broadcast. I'm not here to profess religion to you guys, although I have the faith. I'm showing you guys another path that may lead you to the faith as well, just through logic and reasoning, because they're one and the same. What's reasonable is what it is, guys. Shout out to Queens, Jojo, Batman, William, Monkey Magic and the rest of the boomers. I'll take a few more comments and questions. Let me know if you went to the gym. I know that Rev did the back today. Champ hit the squat. So I'm really close to the 3-plate PR, guys. You know what my goals are: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 plate overhead times 5. I did it. 2 plates chest. I did it. 3 plates squat. I've already done 2, and then 4 plates for the deadlift. I haven't hit the 4 plate yet. I'm about at 385 on the deadlift right now, so I'm trying to get that 405 times 5. William says, can't have passion if it's motivated with reason. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I think people do have passions, and that's normal, but you know, that's what separates men from animals. At the end of the day, animals lead with their passion. They lead with their feelings. They don't have logos. That's the difference, guys. You're asking a question. He says, can you have passion if it's motivated with reason? I believe so. Yeah. If you can have you can have passion for logos. Again, but you know, I think it's still within reason. Don't let your animal side come out. I mean, if you're just dealing with passion, you're kind of thinking like an animal. You have to think within reason. That's why shout out to the Stoics out there, because there is a little bit of or a lot of bit of truth with that. That they're not letting their passions run them. The Stoics aren't letting who mentioned the Stoics right now? Someone did, but they're not letting their passion rule them. So, you know, that's why I'm trying to bring it back to, you know, things before BC, you know, the Greeks or whatnot, because it seems that there's a lot of good information there. Ryan Shore, boom, with the $2. Ryan, he says, how's baby Champagne? The little boomette is doing good. You know, she's just a few weeks old here, and we got the baby Champ here. He's over 1 now and looking strong. And I appreciate everybody asking about the family out there, and family first, boomers. I told you, you know, at the end of the day, they try to tell you or they'll ask you, you know, what the meaning of life is, or, you know, some people tell you, you know, it's to find what your passions are. It's all bullshit. The meaning of life is to keep growing your family, guys. Don't let anybody tell you opposite. You have to have the family first out there. Queen says, Champ, it's not a religion, it's a relationship with God. I agree, Queens, but you know, some people look at it like that, you know. So, you know, I'm trying to sneak the jewels in there, Queens. I'm trying to sneak the jewels in there. Human mind, animal body, animal mind, human body, says Batman. That's interesting. So yeah, guys, you know, check it out, and you know, especially Queens, because I know that he's got a relationship, a Christian relationship with God, and or so I suppose. And I think what's really interesting with this is that the Gospel of John, he went out there, right? He professed it to the Greeks, which, you know, are logical, reasonable people. And that's where you got Plato, Aristotle, and the rest of these characters that, you know, they dropped jewels. And he took their terms and showed them how what they were thinking is basically Jesus Christ as the incarnate logos. So says what I'm sharing here. Queen says, sneak those jewels in. Indeed. Gym every day at 8 months, post-op, ACL repair, legs, cardio, legs. Indeed. Shout out to William. Post-operation on the ACL repair, legs, cardio, legs. Indeed. I tell you guys, and I told this to Rev the other day. He told me, oh, legs day. It's tough. When you're squatting 3 times a week, you're not going to fear legs at all. You're going to be stronger. If you start with legs, you do the hard work first. Don't let your passion for another meme workout sidetrack you from what's reasonable. You need to start from the ground up. You need to have your legs strong first so that you can, you know, start from the ground up. So once you're doing legs, like William says, you'll be fine. I want to encourage you guys to do squats. You know, I've been doing the strong lifts. Well, actually, I'm doing the intermediate program, Mad Cow. I've kind of remixed it myself, but I'm hitting those goals, guys. I'll be there soon. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll tell you that much. Champ, I've been honest. I've been skipping days recently. I'm upset with myself. How do you do it, man? You know, I'm trying to stay within reason. I know that it's the right thing to do, Jojo. It's the right thing to do. You know, to show up and be healthy and treat your body right. There's no way to argue with that. You know, it's the right thing to do, Jojo. You know, at the end of the day, you want to do the right thing. So once you lead with logos and with reason, then you show up to bat. You don't let your passion for something else sidetrack you. You don't even let your will sidetrack you sometimes. Okay. But again, and I'm not acting like, you know, I'm absolutely perfect. You know, maybe I've missed one day or two, you know, since I really started going hard last summer. But, you know, I've been in the rut before, you know. I think that setting a goal is very important too. And I've said this in other broadcasts, Jojo. That's one thing that continues to drive me, you know, getting that goal. So, you know I lead with logos, with reason, because I know it's the right thing to do. Like, there's no way to arguing that exercise is good for you. So that's reasonable, right? And then my will is second. And my will is to hit these goals. I have specific goals. And then, you know, I don't really get passionate that much into it. Sometimes it's passionate and, you know, I go in and out of the gym, but you're not going to always be in love with what you're doing. Even with the crypto stuff, it's like, you know, every single broadcast is not like the first broadcast, or it's not like 2017, the boom, you know. You have to, you got to keep pushing, like William says. William says, absolutely, build the foundation. I've been top heavy, got the prison body. I learned my lesson. William says, why are you going, Jojo? I kept falling off over and over and had to sit down and figure out why and what I wanted for myself and set expectation. Otherwise, I just fell off. There you go. You got to get to the bottom of things. You got to get to the bottom of things. And once you get to the bottom of things, you realize, listen, it's reasonable. It's the right thing to do to be healthy and to be strong. And then you can let your will go in and say, all right, what am I going to do with this reason? Like, you know, what are my goals are? And I set those clear goals, the 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. And I was serious about them and I committed to them. And I'm still trying to finish it. I hit the 1 and the 2, almost the 3, and I'm still a little further away from number 4. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the 1 is for the overhead press, 1 plate, 2 plates for the bench press, 3 plates for the squat, and 4 plates for the deadlift. I want to do all those times 5. Queens Races with the $2. Friday Blessings, a.k.a. Ducats in the Buckets. Thank you so much, Queens. I appreciate you. Guys, follow the leader, Queens. Queens is always showing love. Thank you, Queens. I can only say thank you. I don't know how I can repay you, but continue to spread the good word. I appreciate you, Queens. Thank you. Rev says, so when we all make crypto millions, are you going to help your brothers and sisters, or is it a free for all? I think we already are to a certain extent, Rev. I don't need to make crypto millions to help the brothers and sisters. I think we already started on that. And I hope that some people have gotten something positive out of these broadcasts. So I hope that what we've been doing here has helped somebody. That's kind of the reason that I do these self-improvement chats, because I feel like it can help somebody, because it helped me. I don't need to be a millionaire to help people. And if you're only thinking that you can help people monetary, that's not reasonable either. You know, it's not just giving money out, you know, although we've done that as well. I'm not sure if you remember those days, Rev, if you were around. I used to give out Steam every single day, or just about, you know, so maybe I gave you some Steam, but, either way, it's important to help our brothers and sisters out. And hopefully it's not a free-for-all, because that's not within reason. 2 says, Ducats in the Buckets. Thank you, Rev. I appreciate you. I appreciate Rev out there. Rev flipping tires out there in the UK. I appreciate him so much, and he shows love. We don't always agree, me and Rev, but we're definitely crypto brothers out there. And that's what it is out there, guys. You know, we don't always got to agree out here. You know, I got my beliefs or whatnot, and some people may agree with it or not, and you know, we're still bros out here. We're rocking every day. If we treat each other with respect, that's what's important to me. Yeah, I remember you giving out Steam, says Rev. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'll fire that out. I used to give out a bunch of Steam out there. I used to do giveaways very often, and maybe I'll do that again if I feel like it, you know. And I did that just because I wanted. I didn't ask anybody for anything with the Steam. I mean, I guess you would have to follow me, or not even. You didn't even have to follow me to get the Steam. I would send it. I didn't even check if people were following me. The workout starts when you want to quit. That's a Ronnie Coleman. There you go, Batman. I like that. Raphael says, amen, brother. Thank you, Raph. Shout out to Rev. I appreciate you, Rev, with the €2 there in the bucket. Queens with the $2 in the bucket. Let me throw a little dollars off the sky out there. So just to recap, I know it got a little deep out there. It got a little deep, but sometimes you got to get deep on them and let them know that you're rocking with logos within reason, okay? And, you know, you're not letting your pathology take over you, okay? Remember, passion is pathos in Greek, and that's just short, you know, for pathology. You know, you want to be a pathological out there, guys. Stop it with these following your passion jazz. I'm done with it. The Secret or whatnot, all these things, do without will. These are all things that are going against Logos, guys. Ryan Shores, back in the days of funk, the big boom, what was your max watch list, max users watching? Ryan's asking. I think that, you know, at the top, we went over 500 at certain points, and sometimes we went over 500, but there were some Russian bots that were trying to sell me services and give me fake viewers, and I think you guys saw it. And, you know, Champ doesn't do fake viewers. I don't pay for views. And they were trying to, you know, throw me extra viewers on some of the streams. I was one that we had like 600-700 people all of a sudden, but those views didn't stick. I think legit, we were closer around 500 at one point. That was, you know, at the top of the crypto boom. And hopefully we'll get back there once again. But I'll tell you this. I feel a lot closer to the crypto brothers now in the box right now than I did when we had 500 people, because it would be always new faces. I know some of you guys stuck around, but when you have 500 people or close to, you know, in the chat box, it was a lot of new faces, a lot of haters, a lot of non-believers, a lot of, you know, funny bunnies, a lot of baby bear cubs that were just coming in. And I don't know where they're at now, but it seems like we filtered out. And what we stayed here is with the top boomers, guys like Rev, like Queens, like yourself, Ryan. You know, if you're still rocking with the champ now, you know, I know you're a true boomer. Queen says, if I made a lot of money, I would open up an MMA gym and start off every day with prayer before sparring. I'll pray with my students to bring awareness of God's love and set the right atmosphere. There you go. I agree with Rev. He says that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. You know, I like mixed martial arts. And, you know, I've shared this before. When I was younger, I used to do judo. The champ would do judo out there. So, you know, I'll put you in a chokehold if you're acting funny bunny. But, yeah, I think that's important. And one of the Nakamoto family friends was letting me know that I should put the little champ in some mixed martial arts as well. Maybe I'll throw him in some jiu-jitsu, some judo, some Muay Thai or something when he gets a little older. And it does give you a little bit of discipline as well. But yeah, I like that idea, Queens. Hopefully we all boom out here. It seems like we will. Queens is bringing positivity to Queens as well. Yeah, kaboom. And you know, you mentioned prayer and your belief in God and stuff, and it's not like you're trying to like convert everybody and tell them to do what you're doing. It's like, you know, if you find something that you believe is rocking with you, you want to share it and let people know that, listen, this works for me. Just like I tell you guys when I did the keto, okay, or when I'm doing the strong lifts, or the mad cow, I'm letting you guys know, listen, this is what I'm doing. This is what's rocking with me. This is what I've learned. And I'm sharing it. If you guys want to, you know, follow the leader, if not, you know, show me something else. Like Rev said, you know, champ, check out tire flipping. Now, I haven't had the opportunity to flip a tire on a program. I've done it before, but I don't have a gym. So maybe, you know, he shared something that I should look into. Champ. Champagne for my real friends, real pain for my champ friends. I like that, Batman. Shout out to you. Jojo says, been doing my 5x5s for about 9 months, seeing positive results, but feeling fatigued recently. I think I'm rushing to get to the 1, 2, 3, 4s and need to deload. Let me ask you, Jojo, have you not deloaded in 9 months? So you're still, like, you have to deload every, like, once, like, I would say, if you're a newbie, you could probably go like 3 or 4, even 5 months without a deload. Okay. But once you know, for you, you're probably not a newbie if you've been doing it for 9 months straight. So I would recommend take a deload. It's all right. Look at these professional power. Even Larry Wheels himself, this guy here on the thumbnail, he does deloads like every 5 to 6 weeks. So don't be scared about a deload out there. Don't let your ego or your own ethos get in the way of what's reasonable. Sometimes you got to pull back and, you know, take a little break, go super light for a whole week, and then come back at them like a cryptomaniac soldier out there, Jojo. You know, maybe you're going a little, you're rushing to that 1, 2, 3, 4, like you said, and you need a little break. Let me know if you have you taken the deload or not, because you should. Shout out to Queens, Jojo, Batman, Rev, Ryan, Rafael, or Raffle. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I see you out there, bro. Thank you, Rev, for the $2. Thank you, Queens, for the $2. I appreciate you, maniacs. Guys, I finally put these lifts and bits chats, the self-improvement chats, into one playlist. It's linked down below in the description. If you want, go through some of the other ones and, you know, check it out and see what works for you. I mean, maybe you guys can get some gems in there and become a better boomer. You know, that's at the end of the day, that's the purpose of these broadcasts, to become a better boomer. And I think we started finding that alternative frequency right here with the crypto, because crypto, Bitcoin, okay, and these booming coins are perhaps a better alternative, a more reasonable alternative, an alternative with more logos than the fiat fraud that we have right now. So not only are we trying to improve with the monetary system, but it's also the physical and mental systems as well. Batman says, yeah, you definitely need to mix up the rep range and give your body a break from the real heavy weights from time to time, or you'll hit a plateau. Absolutely. You know, Batman's right. You're not going to continue making progress on a 5x5 for a year straight. You're going to have to pull back at some points. Raphael says, Ralph, just call him Ralph. Okay, Ralph, I'll just call you Ralph. And I know I mispronounced that, and I apologize, but you know, I'm talking to you. I'll call you Ralph. But yeah, guys, check out all the self-improvement chats. We've been flagged for a couple of them too. We one of the War on Masculinity videos. You know, I expressed my opinion about I don't think homosexuality is viable for a long-term culture. You know, I don't know exactly what I said, but they flagged me for my opinion. You know how it goes. They put the champ on a bad list. They said I'm not suitable for advertisers. That's why I appreciate you guys dropping ducats in the buckets here, because we don't always get ads running on our YouTube. Some videos do. Some videos do. It seems like lately I haven't been attacked as much. Maybe I haven't attacked the powers that be as much, but you know, that's what it is. Jojo says, I kind of plateau at 115 overhead, 200 bench, 135 squat, 225 deadlift. I've been hitting these for reps for about a month now. Before that, I was steadily progressing. Yeah, maybe you're due for a break. And how's your nutrition? How are you eating? Because, you know, if you're gonna lift more, you're gonna have to eat more. That's the thing. That's the bottom line. If you've hit a plateau and you want to lift more, you're gonna have to eat more good food, not to gain weight like bad weight, but you know, you got to fuel yourself. But I would recommend, in my opinion, again, my opinion, I'm not a personal trainer or anything like that. My opinion is that pull back for a week. Maybe do the program, but go super light. Like start it off almost from scratch for a week or something, and just give your body a little bit of time to rest. What's interesting here with your numbers, though, is that there's a real big disparity between your bench and your squat. Your squat should always be bigger than your bench. So you need to work on the squats out there, Jojo. You know, 200 bench is all right, but a 135 squat with a 200 bench, you don't want to be top heavy. You don't want to be top heavy. You got to start with those legs. And it seems like, you know, with a 225 deadlift, you should be able to squat a little bit more. So, you know, focus on your squat. Maybe your legs are a little tired, and that's okay. Give it a little break. It's okay for a week or so to give it a little break. Rev says, I think if I made crypto millions, I would help my two brothers and build a car restoration company to restore the classics. And that would be in the garage of the castle. I like that. I like that. Shout out to Rev. Car restoration company to restore the classics. Indeed. Shout out to Rev, Raphael, Jojo, Batman. Check out the lifts vaults, guys, if you're one of the new listeners. If you want to find like a workout training program, you know, there's bodybuilding programs, powerlifting programs there at liftvaults.com. And they have all kinds of spreadsheets that you could follow there if you want to get yourself in a program. And that's something I highly recommend. Find yourself a program, stick to the program, and set some goals out there, guys. If you don't have quantifiable goals, you may lose your course once you start getting tired. On that note, I'll take a few more comments and questions, guys. But to recap once again, logos, ethos, and pathos. Make sure you're leading with reason before your will and your passions. This follow your passion is a meme, guys. It's another way to trick you. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for the boomers out there that stuck with me during this broadcast. I know it probably wasn't the hypest one, but I think that some people needed this information. I know somebody, even if it's one guy out there that got the information and benefited, then that's a good thing. Ralph says, market up or down. Market seems to have stabilized, Ralph. We did a broadcast this morning, all crypto. We talked about, looks like we found the stabilization there around 5K. But, you know, may go down a little bit more. I don't know. But it's looking good at the price that it's at right now. And some are saying it may go to like $6,000 or $8,000. I know Rev is kind of bullish. He said that this month or even next month we may see a little run up. But the fact is that nobody really knows. But, you know, the support level seems to be about 5,000 right now for Bitcoin. Rev with the thumbs up. Queen says, Rev, that sounds like fun. Car restoration company. And shout out to Ralph again. Shout out to Jojo. Let's send our positive energy to Jojo so that he can get over this plateau and continue on his path to becoming a strong crypto maniac. I like that, Jojo. Champ, thank you. You're the man. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Queens. I appreciate you so much, Queens. Every day you're dropping a little dollar or two. And even if you show up with no dollars, you know you're a crypto brother out here. And I appreciate your positive energy way more than the ducats and the buckets, although those help as well. But, you know, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Queens. Rev says this month the bull run begins. Hopefully it already started. It looks like it may have already started. Jojo says, my diet is good. I'll take the boomer's advice and do a deload. Yeah, don't let your ego, don't let it harm your ego. It's okay. Go in there for a week and do everything really light. And maybe even rep it up to 10 reps, you know, just to, you know, flip it up, you know, just throw a 25 on the squat or something. Go light. Just go easy, work out for a week. Give yourself time to relax and then come back harder after that week. Ralph says, kaboom. Thank you. Indeed. Thank you, Ralph. Rev says, just his guess, don't bet on it. Yeah, Rev's not your crypto daddy either. Rev doesn't know either, but he thinks that the bull run may begin this month. On that note, guys, I'm going to go ahead and land the plane on the tarmac, put the car in park, and enjoy the rest of my weekend out there with the boomer and the boomettes. Jojo says, thanks, champ. I appreciate the streams. Thank you, Jojo. I appreciate you showing up frequently to the chats. And I also appreciate everybody out here, Queens, Rev, all the boomers out there. I appreciate you, maniacs. I really do, guys. It's not about the dollars or three, like I said, although they definitely help. But, you know, you guys give me energy as well. At least I know that I'm not talking to myself out here, that there's boomers out there that are listening. Although they may be bots like Rev. You never know. You guys may be robots. Champ, what's a deload? Never heard of that saying before. Deload is it's basically what it says when you deload, when you reduce the load of the weights that you're pumping. So let's say, you know, you went really heavy this week. Like for instance, like I told you guys what I squatted today. So I did 315, 3 plates. I only managed to do 2. If I was going to do a deload, I'll cut that weight by like 60% or 40%, let's say, you know, substantially cut it almost in half. You know, some people do more drastic deloads than others. But, yeah, you would just want to basically cut the weight. So when you're doing heavy weight, you deload and go light for a week. Rev's a bot. Just keep it below the radar. And so am I. I'm really just an AI. I'm really not a real human. Queen says, I'm going to Google this. Yeah, check it out. It's a powerlifting term, or a lifting term is a deload. And the Mad Cow program that I'm following actually tells you that you should deload and reset the program once you hit a certain plateau. Because, I mean, it's reasonable, right? It's reasonable that you're not going to just every single time continue to add more weight. You're going to hit a plateau. Even the best of them do. Even Larry Wheels hits plateaus. So, you know, that's when you want to consider doing a deload so that your body can rest, repair itself, and then you come back even stronger. On that note, I'm out of here, guys. Shout out to Jojo, Queens, Rev, Ralph, and the rest of the boomers out there. Guys, enjoy your weekend. If you haven't gone, do it now. Go to the gym. Do it now. Do it now. I need you guys deadlifting. Do it now. Do your best to look like Larry Wheels out here. Kaboom. Every 3 months change program, says Ralph. That's reasonable as well. But, you know, for the newbies, they could go a little longer with that strong lift. Like I did strong lift for over 5 months, 6 months. And, you know, I was seeing results. But, yeah, I do agree with you. For the most part, once you're sort of intermediate, you could change the program every 3 months. And when you start a new program, it starts you lighter. So every time you start a new program, it's essentially doing a deload. Because once you start a program, you're going to start at the beginning, which is lighter than at the end of the program. So you guys know the deal. At that note, I'm out of here, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Shout out once again to all the boomers. I'll see you guys on Monday. It's the voice of the blockchain, Satoshi's big cousin, cryptography's finest, Champagne Crypto.